Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lavari Field on the campus of St. Augustine Prep in Richland, New Jersey for another edition of Hermits Baseball right here exclusively on the Hermits Broadcasting YouTube channel. A lot of PowerPoints in play today in this South Jersey matchup as the 12-3 St. Augustine Prep Hermits take on the 11-4 Fighting Clan of Vineland with the first pitch in just a few minutes. Once again, welcome everyone. I'm Jimmy Bachman. Alongside me today is Assistant Athletic Director Mr. Tom Brumell, as we are, as I said, moments away from the beginning of this one. Not the best weather today in Richland, as you can see. Trying to make do. Apologize for the lower camera quality than usual. Just trying to see through the fence, but game's going on so far.
Yeah, it's kind of just been this light rain. It goes from drizzle to nothing to light rain. The radar keeps looking like it might, just go away in the next however long, 15, 20 minutes. We've been hoping it would have stopped. It hasn't yet, but it's not been quite enough to really call the game. So, yeah, there is the chance that the weather interferes. I think we're all kind of hoping in the next 20 minutes this is gone. It's going to be a cloudy day and we can get this game in. But, yeah, so right now we're protecting our equipment as much as we can. That's why you got the camera going through the fence. If this rain does stop and we're able to get the camera out above the fence, where it's a little more exposed to the elements, we will do that at the quickest point possible.
Herbert's coming into this one with a couple wins against Ocean City earlier this week, a win against Autobahn last week. So on a 3-game winning streak at the moment. Against a tough Vineland team today, and a young pitcher on the mound seeing his first innings of the season, Jamison Dobus, just a sophomore.
Yeah, Dobus is a big kid, throws hard. Just been one of those arms that in the beginning of the year when you're only playing maybe 2, maybe 3 games a week, they haven't had to use him. He's always kind of been there, and they decided to give him the start today. Hoping they'll do well. I think he'll do well. I remember seeing him last year play for the, I think it was the freshman team in his first start. He ended up playing for JV a lot of the year. But the freshman team games, if you've ever been to one, can sometimes be long. Errors, bad base running. Sometimes a little sloppy for both teams. And so sometimes I just kind of hunker down and expect a long game, and Dobus is like a first play or start as a freshman for the freshman team. Went down and ended the game in like an hour and a half because he was just dominant. So I'm hoping we see that Dobus today. Obviously the levels are a lot different, but he's a talented young arm.
First pitch from Dobus is in the dirt for ball 1. It'll be Anthony Ratcoats, the senior center fielder, leading off today for the Fighting Clan, followed by Xavier Cortez and Yohan Feliz.
Yeah. The nerves on that first pitch kind of spiked it in front of the plate. Like I said, it is also raining. Good pitch there.
That one down the middle for a strike. Ratcoats hitting .378 for the year.
Obviously, you can't use
home run.
Rain as an excuse. Both teams are playing in it. But, both teams are going to have to adjust.
1-1 count now to Ratcoats. Off-speed pitch drops in for strike 2.
And so, yeah, this is a big test, like you're saying, for Dobus. Vineland's a very good team. Vineland, 7th seed in the Diamond this year. We're the only team last year to beat the Hermits in the regular season.
That one down the right field line, foul.
Vineland's had a pretty good team. They're always a solid team, but the last 2 years especially, they've been really good and one of the better teams in the Cal, which, we've seen the Cows were really good the last couple of years. Spirits had a run. EHT's always very good. Ocean City usually has a couple studs on their team. So if Dobus can perform well today, it might give the coaching staff that confidence in him that you might see him a lot more.
That one just high, ball 2. So Ratcoats stays alive, a 2-2 count now for him. I said a little earlier, a lot of PowerPoints in play today. The Hermits really in a 3-way dead sprint towards the finish line with Red Bank Catholic and Notre Dame for that 1 seed into the South Jersey playoffs, because that one will make the count full.
Yeah, it's a little interesting because, last year I think it was the first year they changed it from just your first 16 games to your best 16 through the cutoff. So, who's got the better 16 wins against teams that have most amount of PowerPoints. Yeah, Vineland, like you said, how many wins do they have, did you say?
They're 11-4.
11-4. It's going to be a big boost to the Hermits if they can, for their PowerPoints above Red Bank and Notre Dame, but those teams are going to keep winning too, so you got to keep accumulating them.
Yeah, right now the Hermits are in 3rd of those 3, but only 2 points between them and first place. So, like I said, it's really a dead sprint to the finish at this point. That one just outside, ball 4. So Ratcoats will walk after a long at-bat, 8 pitches to start off this one. That'll bring up shortstop Xavier Cortez with the chance to get Vineland on the board early, and we're going to have a mound visit early on. Just giving.
Oh, they might have forgot the
Yep.
the spike cleaner, whatever you want to call it. So Dobus can kind of clean his cleats off after every pitch or two. So Coach Ney bringing that out there.
Cortez hitting .372 with 17 RBIs on the year. 8 walks as well. Big secondary lead from Ricotes over at first base, as you saw Lloyd pop up early. Lloyd behind the plate today. We've seen him and Gillespie rotate all year. Gillespie over at third.
Yeah, it's been Hermits have been tinkering with the lineup a little bit over the last week or so. So, like I said, in the beginning of the year, it had been Gillespie and Lloyd switching right field and catcher. Then, as Lloyd went into a little bit of a slump, they were kind of doing more Lloyd catching on a given day, maybe DH and doing this, that, the other thing. But now they've kind of had some of the corner outfielders come on. You think is Bersani in right? And
yes, it's going to be so. Let me just give you an overview of the field. So it'll be Myers at center, Fury in left, Bersani in right, Gillespie at third, Irachi at short. It'll be Jack Capuccio at second, Lavari at first, and Lloyd behind the plate as Lloyd throws back to first.
Yeah, so it's kind of been a puzzle piece for Coach Bailon because Bersani really hasn't gotten many at-bats until the St. Joe's Hamilton game a couple weeks into the season. One of the sophomores kind of waiting his turn, waiting his time. And he swung the bat well, kind of forcing his way in the lineup, so it gives them the option to move Gillespie to third, leave Lloyd in the lineup, who had a couple hits.
As that one fly ball into right field, Bersani going back, he's under it, makes the grab. So 1 out in the inning.
Yeah, but he's got different options. So now if he thinks, if the third baseman before his average wasn't as high, you can slide Gillespie over there. Now that Bersani's hitting, you can put him in right. You can leave Lloyd there. Like I said, Lloyd struggled to start the season, but he's a freshman. Sometimes it's kind of adjusting to that varsity level pitching. But he had 2 hits the other day, double and a single. So if he can keep hitting like that, maybe the Hermits lineup is starting to come together at the right time as they kind of figure it out as we head into the Diamond. Like I said, Hermits have their round 2 game bye in the first round on Saturday.
Sideminson.
Yep.
Dobus throws back. It'll be number 21, right fielder Yohan Feliz. The 3-hole now up for Vineland.
Yeah, Sideminson
1 out in the inning.
Defeated East or West? One of the Cherry Hills. I think it's East. But they defeated Cherry Hill East pretty convincingly in round 1.
Ball 1 to Feliz. 14 pitches in the inning so far for Dobus. 1 out, runner on first.
If everything breaks the right way or if everything goes to chalk, Hermits might be staring down a rematch of Bishop Eustis if both teams win on Saturday. I mean, it was a great game last time. Eustis had a couple couple bigs win this year, a couple close losses against some really good teams. But like Kingsway, I think they lost by 1. The Hermits obviously walked it off in that 4-hour game.
That one in the dirt. Ricotes will take second easily. So runner now in scoring position with 1 out for Feliz.
Yeah, ball in the dirt kind of popped up. Lloyd didn't know where it was right away, so gets the second pretty easily on the wild pitch.
Vineland coming off a 3-2 loss against Millville back on Tuesday as a chopper from Feliz. Gillespie eyes over to second, makes the throw over to first, gets the out. Runners, Ricote stays over at second, so 2 outs now for the Hermits.
I mean, textbook play by Gillespie right there. He got the field the ground ball in 1 hop, looked the runner back to second, make sure he got all the way back there, and then he easily fires over to first and gets the second out of the inning. Just really showing games versus he's a great defensive catcher. So is Lloyd. Played well in the outfield when he's been out there, and then right there making solid defensive plays at third, just showing he can kind of play all over.
Yano Rodriguez, the first baseman, now up for Vineland. Dobus with 2 outs, looking to get out of this one. You see him rubbing the ball every time he gets it back. It's tough on the mound with these rainy games, just trying to keep the grip. 0-1 count. Off speed. Ooh, good pitch. And no, they're not going to give it to him. Umpire near second base says he did not swing. So it'll be 1-1.
Yeah, that's the difficulty of the two-man.
Really,
two on.
He doesn't really have much of a better angle than the guy behind the plate does.
Exactly. He's
fly ball in the left center field. Myers is under it, and he makes the grab, and that's the first inning. So Vineland gets one runner into scoring position off a walk, but they are unable to get him home. So score 0-0 as we move on to the bottom of the first right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here at LeVare Field. If you're just joining us, I'm Jimmy Bachman alongside Mr. Tom Brummel. Hermits baseball here against the Vineland Fighting Clan. Bottom of the first inning. Still scoreless in this one. It'll be Joey Arachi to lead it off for the Hermits. The sophomore shortstop. Been a star for this team so far this year.
Yeah, it was leading the team in hitting for a while, and then I think Gillespie passed him. So, I mean, that's two sophomores that are kind of leading the team. So it's one of those years where the Hermits have had a few of these where it's a quote-unquote rebuilding year. You just graduated like 7 starters from last year. You bring your pitchers back, but you graduate a lot of starters, pitchers minus Gaines, and they got a lot of talented guys that just come through the program. So, yes, you graduated a ton, and you're starting a couple sophomores, a freshman, a couple juniors in the lineup, but they're good players. You know what I mean? It's not that much of a drop-off.
Arachi takes that one in the outside corner for strike one, hitting .333 on the year with 2 home runs. And the next pitch to him fouls off out of play.
It'll be interesting to see Arachi develop over the years, too. I mean, just like I said, just a sophomore. But, I mean, starting sophomore shortstop at St. Augustine usually bodes well. You mean, figure Ryan Weingarten, who played a lot his freshman, sophomore years, been killing it at St. Joe's. Before him, you have Kenny Levine on top 25 teams, top 20 teams for Old Dominion, starting third base, short, wherever he is, on that given day. And then before him, you had Josh Hood, who excelled at Penn, but kind of got that hurt by the COVID stops and starts. So then he transferred to NC State, who was, the top programs.
As Arachi shoots that one into shallow right field. Feliz is under it and makes the catch. So 1 out quick for Vineland. It's Nick Bancroft, number 13, on the mound for the Fighting Clan today. Coming in with a 1.09 ERA and 24 strikeouts on the year and 19. We see CJ Fury now up to the plate. So Vineland going one of their more experienced pitchers. Well, the Hermits trying a new guy. As Fury takes that one in for strike one.
Yes, that's always interesting with these back-to-backs. I mean, you got to have the arms to win both games if you can. So, the Hermits going, like you said, going with one of the younger guys. Vineland trying to take game one.
That one just outside. So 1-1 count now to Fury. So Arachi led off. It's Fury now, followed by Myers. Marco Lavari will be in the cleanup, followed by Gillespie Puccio today for the Hermits. Coming off that 10-4 victory at Ocean City back on Tuesday. 2-1 count to Fury. Inside ball. 3-1, 1 out. Bancroft in the windup. Drops that one in for strike two, so the count's now full.
It's been good to see the Fury in the lineup this year. Was pitcher only last year.
As Fury shoots that one down the left field line, it's going to be down and fit as he puts on the brakes at second. So 1 out double for the Hermits.
Yeah, I was just saying he was a pitcher only the last couple of years. I'm not sure what he did JV as a freshman, but sophomore junior year he only showed him on the mound. Committed to Villanova, as just like Cole Vanderslice before him, and actually J.P. Podgorski's the junior also committed to Villanova. But this year he came in. He knew there was a lot of spots in the lineup to be won. Could use a little help with some of the young. Didn't know how some of the young guys were going to play. So he told Coach Bone that he wanted to give it a shot in the outfield, and gets the first hit of the game for the Hermits.
So that rain's still falling down as the umpire wipes a few of the.
Yeah, it looks worse from where we're at in the tent because it's kind of all pulling to the same spot and then just dripping down in front of us. But it's just kind of like a light sprinkled drizzle. But it's baseball. The longer that goes, it can build up and start to affect the game, cause some sloppy play. Like I said, we're all kind of looking. You can see some darker clouds have passed us. You can see some light. It's that light grayish cloud where it can be nothing or it could be drizzling. And we're hoping this is all past us in a short amount of time.
So Myers, second pitch swing. That one's deep into right field. Right fielder going back. It's going to get down. Fury will score. Myers is going to get himself all the way over to third. Some early pitch swinging from the Hermits. 2 extra base hits gets them on the board early.
Yeah, good. I mean, probably wouldn't have mattered too much, but good base running there by Fury. Kind of read that right off the bat. Like we were watching the right fielder go back, kind of couldn't see the ball above the tent, and but Fury didn't even wait to maybe tag, go halfway. He just started running. He knew that ball was dropping in.
Ripped off again. So obviously struggling with his grip a little bit. As Marco Lavari comes up to the plate with 1 out and a runner on third. On the windup, Bancroft. Lavari fouls it off out of play.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at the radar. If we can get... Now, obviously, future radar is not perfect.
It looks like we have clear sky coming. If
I
they
know.
just holds off. Breaking ball drops in for strike two.
I think you got to get through the next 15 minutes or so.
5.
Yeah.
As Lavari, swing and a miss, goes down on 3 pitches. It's 2 outs now in the inning. Up comes Gabe Gillespie, trying to hit that second run in for the Hermits. Gillespie having a great season so far. That one in the dirt. Hitting .375. 10 RBIs. 1-0. Runner on third. High and outside, ball 2. As Gillespie rips that one, line drive straight through to center field. And he's got himself an RBI single, and the Hermits advance their lead to 2 runs in the first inning.
Like we said, Gillespie leading the team in batting average.
Alex Bersani now up. He's been red hot the last few weeks. Went from really not being in the lineup early on to now being a daily starter. Yeah, shows a couple good games in a season like this where you got a lot of young guys and Coach Byron testing things out. And Bersani's got himself the right field job basically secured at this point.
Yeah, he's made himself, hard to leave out of the lineup. But it's one of those things where you got a lot of guys going for the jobs, and who do they went with some of the older guys at first. Maybe they weren't hitting quite as well, and ball scoots back towards us.
So Gillespie will take second base. Our runner now in scoring position with 2 outs.
Looks like they're going to grab a bag of Diamond Dry real quick. There's a wet spot.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bancroft's looked on ball this entire inning. He's been. So, a brief timeout here to fix up the mound. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. So a brief rain delay now at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, as some of the Hermits players and coaches come out trying to fix the field, discussing what they're going to do here. The rain's still coming down, so just to give you a heads up. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll give you more information. Well, the rain stopped, but the damage on the field has been done. Mr. Romelli, you got an update on what's going on right now?
Coaches were talking. I mean, it seems like obviously we have to talk to Vineland's athletic director, but the tentative plan as of right now, it's tentative. Don't quote me on it. It sounds like, since we're off tomorrow, everybody can be ready for 3. I think Vineland sounds like they might be able to get here at 3. I don't know if they're just going to pick up from the second inning or if they're going to restart the game, but it sounds like they're going to try and play it at 3, and then the game was already scheduled at Vineland tomorrow at 7, so they're going to play it here at 3, and then everybody drive over to Vineland for the 7 o'clock second game.
So game officially postponed today.
Yeah, it's the umpires called it, and then so that'll be it for us today.
Right.
But that is, like I said, is our tentative plans. Don't quote us on it, but that's at least what the umpires, coaches, and athletic directors are discussing at the current moment.
All right, well, that'll do it for us here in Richland. As you said, game postponed in the bottom of the first inning. Hermits were winning 2-0 against Vineland. The game will resume tomorrow at 3 o'clock tentatively, so stay tuned on all the Hermits social media pages, Twitter, Instagram, etc., for confirmation on that time for the stream tomorrow. But for now, we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm signing off, Jimmy Bachman, and as always, go Hermits.